Bonjour, Sego. Hello, everybody. My name is Shuma, and welcome to a cooking video. Today, we're going to be cooking some very delicious pumpkin bread. The ingredients you need for this activity is quite simple. So, first of all, you'll need melted coconut oil or extra virgin olive oil. So, I have extra virgin olive oil today. The next thing you'll need will be honey, which I have, or maple syrup. I'm going to use honey today. The next thing you need will be some eggs. So you'll need 2 eggs. And then after that, you'll need some pumpkin puree. So I have some organic pumpkin puree right here. Lovely. And then after that, we'll need some milk. Don't forget the milk. The milk is an important part. You can either use milk or you can use water, though. I'm going to use some milk today. The next thing we'll need will be some pumpkin spice blend. But I couldn't find pumpkin spice blend. So I'm going to use some cinnamon. And then I'm going to use some ground ginger. And I'm going to use some ground nutmeg. And I'm going to use clover. So these 4 spices will equal the nice spice of pumpkin spice blend. So this is what I'm going to be using, these 4 spices. Along with that, we'll need baking soda, not baking powder. They're not the same. So baking soda. And then we'll also need some vanilla extract. I got my vanilla extract right here. And then we'll need some salt. We gotta use a little bit of salt. And then the last thing we'll need is some flour. So I got some flour right here. You could also use walnuts or pecans, chocolate chips, or raisins. You can always add that too, but it's totally optional for your pumpkin bread. Now that we have our ingredients, let's grab the materials that we'll need to create our delicious pumpkin bread. The first thing we'll need is a loaf pan. Once we have the loaf pan, we'll grab our large mixing bowl. Our large mixing bowl is what we'll add all our ingredients in to mix before we put into the loaf pan. The next thing we'll need is a measuring cup and measuring spoons. Once you have all that, you're ready to go. Let's do this. So the first step before you start baking will be taking your oven and preheating it up to 325. So 325, you'll be preheating your oven while you're adding all your ingredients together. All right, so to start this recipe, you're going to measure out 1/3 of a cup of your extra virgin olive oil, and you're going to pour it right into the bowl, just like so. Lovely. Once that's in the bowl, you're going to take 1/2 cup of honey. It's quite sticky. And you're going to pour your 1/2 of your cup of honey into the bowl too. So let's measure out this 1/2 cup. All right, the honey is all measured out. There's 1/2 cup. Now to pour it in with the oil. Just let it ooze all the way into the bowl. It might take a little time, but patience is key. Once the oil and the honey have combined, you're going to take your whisk, or you can use a spoon. I'm going to use a whisk to make it a little faster. And you're going to whisk them together. The recipe calls for 2 eggs, so make sure that you put 2 eggs in with your mix. When the eggs have completely whisked and blended, you're going to take your pumpkin puree, and you're going to measure 1 cup. 1 cup of pumpkin puree. So let's measure this. Once you have 1 cup, of pumpkin puree measured out. You're going to take your cup and you're going to pour it into the mix. This is getting exciting. Now let's add 1/4 cup of milk. What next? It's spice time. So let's grab 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. 1/2 teaspoon. And then put it in. Next, 1/2 teaspoon of ginger. And then next, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. I don't have 1/4 teaspoon, so I'm using 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg. And then the last spice we need is 1/4 teaspoon of cloves. Woohoo! Once your spices are in the bowl, you're going to get 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And you're going to put your 1 teaspoon of baking soda into the bowl. All right, we're on a roll. So now let's grab 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and dump it right into the bowl as well. And now we'll grab 1/2 teaspoon of table salt. And you're going to put your salt, bloop, into the bowl as well. And now we can whisk. Let's whisk all this stuff together. Swoosh. Look at that beautiful color. And now, unless you want to add raisins or walnuts to your pumpkin bread, the last step you'll need to do is add the flour. So you're going to take 1 3/4 cup of flour and you're going to put it into the bowl as well. Just like so. Beautiful. And then you're going to whisk it with a large spoon very well. And now let's add the batter to the loaf pan. So first things first, let's add some oil and grease up that loaf pan so your batter won't stick. Add it all around the sides and the bottom. That way the batter will not stick and the loaf will come out right and easily. Now let's add the batter. This is going to be absolutely delicious. Now, prior to baking, you can add a little bit of cinnamon on top to add a little kick. Once the oven has preheated, let's put in the pumpkin bread. And we're going to leave it in the oven for 55 to 60 minutes. Once the time is up, turn off the oven and you have yourself a beautiful, absolutely gorgeous pumpkin bread. So let's take that out of the oven and let's see what we have. Beautiful. All right, that is all I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this cooking video and enjoy that delicious pumpkin loaf. Until next time, guaba minwa. See you later, everybody.